What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe.
Tease it a little bit. Want to break it down now. Pro Football Focus on Sunday night put out a mock draft, a 7-round Saints mock draft. This does not involve any trades. It is just the current picks that they are at. The top is kind of what we all thought it was going to be, right? Tackle in the first round, receiver in the second round. After that, though, it gets pretty interesting. So let's just dive right into it. In round 1, pick 14, they have the Saints taking Talise Fuaga, the offensive tackle from Oregon State. Now, I like this pick. I like Olu Fashanu, too. Look, if you're the Saints and you're staying there at 14 and nobody falls to you that you absolutely love, whether it's Olu Fashanu, Talise Fuaga, J.C. Latham, whoever, the best offensive tackle available, you take it at 14. You don't overthink this pick. For what it's worth, they do not show the other teams ahead of the Saints. It does not say whether Fashanu was already off the board. They just have Fuaga going there. I'm good with either one of them. The thing I like about Fuaga is I think he could probably play right tackle or left tackle. He's also really good in the running game as well. We had Ken Trahan on last segment. He was talking about, Alvin Kamara's getting older. He's going to need a lot more protection. A guy like Talise Fuaga, who could be a stalwart at left tackle and be really good in the running game, I think that fits both of your needs right there. Round 2, 45th pick. We've all talked about it. It's wide receiver, but which wide receiver? There's been so many there. Is it Xavier Legette, Ladd McConkey, Keon Coleman, Ricky Pearsall? The list goes on and on. PFF has the Saints taking Keon Coleman, the wide receiver out of Florida State. LSU fans know all too well what Keon Coleman is capable of, as he torched you in the opening game out there in Tampa. Now, he cooled off as the season went, but look, he's a guy that can play in the slot. He's a big, physical, big-bodied receiver. He's pretty good after the catch as well. Now, his 40 time's not going to blow the doors off anything. He was, low 4.6, high 5.8, 4.5, but, the guy can flat out play football. He's got great hands. He's got great size for that spot. Michael Thomas was a really productive receiver here for a number of years. He was never a burner. Because you have Olave and Rashid Shaheed. You don't need a guy that runs a 4.4. It'd be nice to have, but it's not a necessity. You take what you believe fits a need and a role in your offense the best, and they think it's Keon Coleman, and I'd be hard-pressed to disagree. I will say that Xavier Legette would be my dream here at 45. If he's there at 45, I would like to see the Saints take him. Look, he's only 6'1", but he's about 220 pounds. I think his official weight's 218. Deebo Samuel was 6'1", 215 coming out of the draft. You hate to make the comparison because it's easy. They both went to South Carolina, but we've seen how Deebo was used in the Kyle Shanahan offense. You got Clint Kubiak coming over. If you get a guy like Xavier Legette, could he be used in a similar role? I think so. Legette's really good after the catch. He's got strong hands. He can play inside and outside, a lot like Keon Coleman. A little bit faster, and I think you could use him more in this Kubiak offense, and an offense that's probably going to like to run the football. They run the ball a lot with Deebo Samuel out there in San Francisco, but I don't hate the Keon Coleman pick. All right, now keep in mind the Saints have no 3rd or 4th round picks. So we jump all the way down to pick 150 in the 5th round. They got the Saints taking Leonard Taylor, the defensive lineman out of Miami. I really like this pick. I think this is a good value pick here in the 5th round. 6'3", 305, exactly what you need at defensive tackle. We talked about it last segment. They only have 3 defensive tackles right now on this roster. Now, he only had 6 sacks in 3 seasons at Miami, but he's a big run stuffer. That's what you need. Think about how bad your run defense was a season ago. It was the game against the Atlanta Falcons a couple days after Thanksgiving that they ran for over 220 yards on you. And that happened about 3 or 4 games in a row last year. There were some times where your run defense was a liability, to put it nicely. You get a Leonard Taylor in the middle of that defense, a big run stuffer to go alongside Brian Bresee, who is a similar size, who has similar attributes to a Leonard Taylor. That makes a nice 1-2 punch right there in the middle. And we know they got pretty solid pass rushers. I really like that pick. We moved to pick 168, still in the 5th round. They got the Saints selecting Kamal Hayden, cornerback out of Tennessee. He's a tall guy. He's got some weight on him. They got him at 6'1", 197. 6 interceptions in his college career, 3 just last season. 7 pass breakups. And keep in mind, he's coming from Tennessee. He's played at the highest level of ball that you can coming out of college. He was in the SEC. Where offense, it's so weird. 10, 15 years ago, it was, a defensive-minded conference. Now every offense in the SEC seems like they can score, and Kamal Hayden did a really good job for a number of years at Tennessee. We still don't know what's going to happen with Marshawn Lattimore. What's the status of him? I believe they're going to keep him, but there's always a chance that they don't. You also have a Debo and Alontae Taylor, but behind those three guys, there's not a ton of depth at corner. I think Kamal Hayden, if nothing else, is a really solid depth piece, which for a rookie in the 5th round, that's what you're looking for, at least in the first year of their contract. I mean, you would like for them to go out there and make first-team all-rookie, but in the grand scheme of things, in the 5th round, if you can get a solid role player at a position of need where you lack depth, that's all you can ask for. It doesn't take long for the Saints to pick again. 2 picks later, round 5, pick 170. It's KT Leviston, the offensive tackle out of Kansas State. I love this. I love going dual tackle. I believe you need 2 tackles. A lot of people are like, well, you got to draft a tackle in the 1st round. Some have even said 1st and 2nd round because Trevor Penning has not panned out. He has shown no ability to play left tackle. I don't believe you have a left tackle on your roster. You had a staple at right tackle for a number of years in Ryan Ramczyk. He has major knee issues. A lot of people think his NFL career might be over. I mean, there is a huge question mark surrounding Ryan Ramczyk right now. KT Leviston, 6'5", 331. A mountain of a man. He could play guard. He could play tackle. You need a guy like that, a guy that can move inside. Because what do you have at guard? I get that tackle's your biggest need, but Cesar Ruiz isn't it. You tried Trevor Penning at guard, and that didn't really work out. And you got your center figured out at Eric McCoy, but outside of that, I think the rest of the offensive line outside of center is a question mark. Here's where it gets really interesting. At pick 175 in the 5th round, you grabbed Keon Coleman out of Florida State in round 2. Well, PFF has the Saints selecting his teammate. It's quarterback Jordan Travis. This is a pick with great value for the 5th round. We saw what Travis can do when he's fully healthy. He was in the Heisman Trophy conversation last year about halfway through the season. Kind of tapered off a little bit. At the end of the year, he suffers that injury. Look, you're getting him in the late 5th round. I get it. There's injury concerns there, but you're not asking him to go in there and play right away. Jordan Travis is not a rookie quarterback that's going to go in there and start year 1. Can you develop him? You know that he has the talent. You know that he has the athleticism. If his medicals check out, I really like this pick in the 5th round. You got to start thinking about the future. Could Jordan Travis be that future? Maybe. The last one I want to look at is round 6, pick 190. It's linebacker Michael Barrett out of Michigan. I love this pick in the 6th round. He's 239 pounds, 6.5 sacks, and almost 140 tackles the past 2 seasons in Michigan. I mean, he was a staple on that Michigan defense that may have been the best defense in the entire country. All the hype was around their offensive line, Blake Corum, J.J. McCarthy, I get it. That defense was incredible. He was a big part of that. He played in big-time football games. He's a national champion with the Wolverines. You need help. Demario Davis is not getting any younger. You lose Zach Vaughn. I think you have solid starting pieces. But outside of those guys, a lot like a corner, there's not a lot of depth behind them. As far as the 6th round go, you're not going to do much better than a national championship winning linebacker that has over 140 career tackles in just the past 2 seasons. I love the Michael Barrett pick. For what it's worth, they have the Saints selecting safety Dominique Hampton with their 2nd 6th round pick, and then in the 7th, it's Bub Means, the wide receiver from Pitt. Stats don't jump out at you, but he had 17.2 yards per catch in his career at Pitt.
Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the 2 guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.